Welcome back. This week at the Supreme Court, a 17-year-old juvenile pleaded guilty to wounding with intent and carrying an offensive weapon. The incident took place at Commonwealth Park last September when the juvenile used a broken glass bottle to cause serious injury to an 18-year-old Moroccan man. The juvenile has been kept in remand since the incident and will be sentenced at the Supreme Court on the 14th of January. The police officers are investigating the death of a 25-year-old man at Varelbeg Estate. GBC understands the man was found hanged. The Royal Gibraltar Police has limited itself to saying the matter remains a criminal investigation at this time. A spokesman said the emergency services were called to the scene at 7:40 p.m. on Tuesday evening and that the coroner had been informed. The GST this week said the public should be entitled to know if a government changes laws or taxes in a way that might be of benefit directly or indirectly to a member of government. The opposition asked for clarity on statements made last weekend on social media, claiming that the Chief Minister was the part owner of a sunglasses shop on Main Street and highlighting this year's budget measure to eliminate import duty on sunglasses. The government responded, saying the GST is out of date. Fabian Picardo says he used to own a sunglasses shop before he was elected Chief Minister. He adds that the company he jointly owns is only a landlord of property in Main Street, from which another company operates a sunglasses shop. Mr. Picardo says, therefore, there was nothing to declare when reducing duties on a number of items, including sunglasses. There were dramatic scenes at Gibraltar's airfield on Wednesday as the ROC's preparedness in the event of an air disaster was tested. The exercise was jointly organised between the government and the Ministry of Defence. Don't be alarmed, this is a drill. Smoke billowing from the fire trainer simulator, acting as the front part of an aircraft that had crashed during takeoff. This scenario is laid out to show just how quickly and effectively Gibraltar would respond to an air crash. There are flames to contend with, walking wounded, potential casualties, and, as we saw today, on-site services acting quickly to tackle the blaze and treating the wounded. Meanwhile, local emergency services, including the City Fire Brigade and ambulance service, began to arrive some 30 minutes after the crash. A little longer than organisers of the exercise would have liked, but that's what today's run-through was all about, to tackle these issues and others in the event of a real disaster. But how frequently are these exercises held, and how important is it to hold them regularly?
It's a statutory requirement, and so from that perspective, the MAA would expect me to exercise at this level, i.e. what I would call a live X, biannually. Once every 2 years. And what we did last November was what we call a tabletop exercise. So we would get ourselves a scenario, but in that particular case we would have all the various agencies around the table and we would just talk through what we're going to do. And obviously that doesn't require the same number of assets, but it just keeps us current and up to speed with the plan itself.
The idea is to make the exercise as realistic as possible, but of course with these types of exercises there are disruptions, and today there was a traffic backlog along some of Gibraltar's busiest roads. This would happen in a real scenario, as access to the airfield would be cut off. As the exercise progressed, those in charge were already taking note of what was and wasn't working.
We start taking notes from the minute that the exercise shoots off. And thereon, the directing staff will be feeding Mr. Perkins here with the PowerPoints, and we'll be having a full debrief of all stakeholders and key players on Friday.
Yeah, Friday morning we've got all the representatives from all the organisations who have taken part coming to a meeting. What we'll then try and do is look at identifying all the major points that we want to get better, and then actually come up with an action plan as to how we can improve. And then there'll be a continuous process of reporting in as to how progress is going, such that we can then update the plan and ready for the next exercise. And I think that we'll be doing another exercise to actually just validate the changes that we made and hopefully see a quicker response time.
The exercise simulated that the aircraft had 66 passengers on board, some of which perished. The walking wounded were processed at the air terminal and reunited with family and friends, and at least 30 were transferred to St. Bernard's Hospital. Organisers of the exercise today said it was extremely valuable in learning lessons. Ahead of the festive season, the Royal Gibraltar Police has launched its anti-drink driving campaign under the banner "Let's All Get Home for Christmas." The campaign is based on the premise that drunk drivers not only affect themselves, but everyone around them, including families, emergency services, and even innocent bystanders.
Operation Roadwatch is a year-round campaign by police to improve safety on our roads. But come December time, the focus turns to drink driving and the potential implications of having one or two too many before grabbing the car keys.
If you are going to go out for a meal, if you suspect that you are going to have a drink, then the best advice is just leave the car at home. Gibraltar is a very small place. We have our taxi service, we have the bus company as well. Let's use them.
So from an operational point of view, how many officers do you have out there on Friday nights looking out for warning signs?
Well, you know, every officer that's on duty, we don't just deal with crime, we deal with traffic. So it's the remit of every police officer on duty on any day to deal with crime, with traffic offences. So whatever day of the week it happens, if we detect it, we will obviously deal with it. During the Christmas period, because of this campaign, we'll obviously be carrying out a little bit more of a targeted enforcement. We'll also have other officers for the other road watch offences, because it's not just driving over the prescribed limit that's a danger. There are other offences like dangerous, careless driving, which are equally as important, and we want to try and stamp out.
Over the years, the police has pushed the message out hard, using shock tactics on commercials, social media and posters in order to drive home the reality of the consequences of drink driving.
We still have those that insist on that they want to drink and they want to drive. But, you know, the truth is that Gibraltar as a whole is a lot more aware. I mean, you know, you take Friday nights, which are probably the busiest nights of the week for revelers and people going out to parties and drinks with friends. You'll see a lot of them walking to and from the premises. And in the last 12 months, we've had 3 accidents where the contributing factor was alcohol. So all in all, it's not all doom and gloom, but we strive to do better, and we strive to keep those statistics at zero if at all possible.
This year's campaign focuses on the message, "Let's all get home for Christmas." It poses the potential scenario of a drunk driver affecting not just himself, but his family and friends, emergency services who may have to battle to save his life, or even another family in another car.
You know, what if the drink driver collides into a pedestrian who's trying to get home for Christmas, or indeed a family travelling in a car getting to their relatives for Christmas? And then we also have the emergency services. You know, in the event of a serious traffic accident, they'll be out there battling to save your life, and we all have our families as well, and we would like to enjoy Christmas as well. So, you know, the message is let's all get home for Christmas, and that means that includes the drink driver and everybody else that uses our roads.
The RGP says things are getting better, and the education campaign has encouraged people to leave their cars at home when they're out for a drink. But there are still, on average, 4 or 5 people arrested for drink driving a month.
And that's all from News Review. For more, you can head over to our website, gbc.gi/news. You can also find us on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Thank you very much for watching. From the team, it's good night.